guys, it's Jessie, and today I'm going to be doing my 2019 bullet journal setup using my Cricut machine. I started bullet journaling about halfway through 2017. I thought it'd be just a fun thing to do. I love having a planner because I like to stay organized. I love lists, like I'm obsessed with lists. And so I thought that the bullet journal would be a good way to combine a planner and just like random things going on in my head and maybe some doodling, and I wanted to work on my handwriting. So I started a bullet journal in about April 2017, and I actually did keep up with it through most of the year. And in the beginning of 2018, I started my second bullet journal. And I don't know, like about halfway through the year, I kind of just stopped using it. I think I got busy at the beginning of one month, and then like that month got away from me. And then kind of the next month got away from me, and I just wasn't super good with keeping up with it. And so as 2019 was starting, I was going back and forth about whether or not I wanted to do a bullet journal this year. I think my main hesitation was whether it was worth it to set up a new one if I was gonna stick to it. And so since I got a Cricut machine about a month or so ago, I decided that that would be a really easy way to put together my bullet journal, and that wouldn't involve me spending all this time doodling and doing handwriting, which for me, I'm just not that good at. It takes me a long time and I'm just lazy, to be honest. So I thought that using my Cricut machine to build my bullet journal would be a good way to play with my Cricut and test new things on my Cricut, and also an easy way to put together my bullet journal. So if you want to see my 2019 bullet journal planner setup using my Cricut machine, just keep watching. So first things first, the journal that I'm using for this year's bullet journal is the Moleskine Classic Softcover Notebook. I picked this up at Target. I've used the Limon one before. I used that one last year, and I used the Leuchtturm the first year I did a bullet journal, and I just felt like this one was a little smaller, a little more compact, and I think it'll do nicely for this year's bullet journal. And as you can see from my little pile on the left, I've gone ahead and printed out all my things on the Cricut that I want to use in my bullet journal. And on the inside cover here, I'm putting in a quote that says, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us." And this is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. I just thought it was a really inspirational quote to start out the new year. And all of the stickers that I made are using the Paper Studio self-adhesive vinyl. I don't actually like this vinyl for other projects because it's removable, it's not permanent. So it's not my favorite vinyl, but I thought it'd be perfect for this project because it'll work really well on paper, and I also have a bunch of it that I won't use for anything else. As you can see, next I'm doing my key. I don't really follow all the typical bullet journal structures. I kind of have made up my own system, but I do like having my tasks laid out. Like I said, I love lists, so this is a good way to keep my tasks organized. I wanted to keep this journal really simple this year, and that's why I kept it very monochromatic. All my stickers are black. In previous years, I've gone a little crazy with color, and this year I really just wanted to go back to basics, keep everything very simple, clean, and classic looking. And to transfer my vinyl onto my journal pages, I'm using this paper transfer tape I bought off Expressions Vinyl. This was my first time using the paper transfer tape instead of the regular transfer tape from like Hobby Lobby or Michaels, but I actually found that this was way easier to work with and way easier to transfer. So I'm kind of hooked on it now, and it was only $9 for a 100-foot roll. So that's a pretty good deal. One of my favorite bullet journal YouTubers is Amanda Rach Lee, and I borrowed a lot of spread ideas from her because, well, they're awesome. And this is one of them that is just such a genius idea. This is a grid cheat sheet. And using this, you don't have to count boxes every time you want to know the spacing of something. You just have a quick, easy guide. I messed mine up a little bit, but it's okay because the numbers are still right. I just messed up my lines just a little bit, but I think it'll still be okay. Next is another inspirational quote for the year. I love having quotes kind of scattered through my bullet journal because I feel like they're little mantras and you can look at and get encouragement. This one says, "You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think." And that's from A.A. Milne. And I just thought that was another really positive way of looking at the new year. Next is my year at a glance spread. I've done this a couple different ways in the past, but this is the way I did it last year, and I actually really liked how it turned out. It's definitely time consuming writing out the days for every single month, but I use this page for birthdays and anniversaries and stuff like that. And so I like having it all in one place. The pens that I'm using are the Sharpie 1.17 millimeter pen. I like that these had a little bit more thickness to them, but they don't really bleed through the page. It even says that on the package, won't bleed through paper. And I found that that really is true. I've used a bunch of different pens in the past. I've tried the Micron ones, which I know everybody uses, but I picked these up at Target and so far I've really liked them. Future log, I'm doing a pretty similar layout to my year at a glance page, and I'm just doing a square for every month of the year. And obviously this just helps me keep track of any future things that come up so that when that month comes, I've got it already tracked down. Year in photos is another spread idea I took from Amanda Rach Lee. I've never done this in the past, but I do like to put pictures sprinkled throughout my bullet journal. I bought a Sprocket photo printer a couple months ago, and each of those pictures prints a 2x3 image, so that's the size box that I'm doing, and every month I'll pick a picture and print it and stick it in the box for that month. I have some goals I want to track this year. This is another thing that I've never done in the past, but I really want to be more goal-oriented going into 2019 and just have this as a constant reminder in front of me. So the different categories I'm doing, I have a word of the year, I have personal goal, career goal, finance goal, fitness goal, and an art goal. And I have those all written down so that I can see them every time I open up my bullet journal and they'll stay with me. Next is a spread that I'm bringing over from last year's bullet journal, and that is my reading list. One of my goals this year is to get back into reading more, and so I like having an ongoing list of books that I want to read, so when I finish something, I automatically have another book ready to go that I want to read. I did a ton of trips in 2017, and I don't think I went anywhere in 2018, but I thought this would be a fun spread to have for any trips that I go on this year. I found this clip art globe, which I really liked, and a clip art version of the skyline of Atlanta, which is where I live. And so I thought that'd be a fun little travel spread. Next, I have a couple ideas pages. First, I wanted to do a Cricut ideas page because there's so many projects you can do with the Cricut, and I just want to have a place that when I thought of something that I want to do, a project I want to try, or just, you know, a quote that I want to use, or anything having to do with a Cricut project, that I had one easy place to put that. And if you're curious about the font I'm using in just about all of these titles, it is Sugar and Spice, and I got it off of defont.com. For my January spread, I wanted to keep going with my simple, minimal concept. Since it's winter, I thought a polar bear would be a fun representation for January, so I found this image of a polar bear and then put the text in and printed it on my Cricut. I jumped back here to my year at a glance page because I decided to fill in the months and then write over it with a white pen. I'm using just a Tombow black marker to fill this in, just to make it a little blockier looking. I also decided to add this simple image of the sunrise to my inside cover. I thought this was another good representation of the new year and something I want to see every time I open up my bullet journal. You can see here I had some issues with the vinyl moving around on the transfer paper, but it's pretty easy to solve. I used my weeding tool and I just moved them back kind of into the right place before I put them onto the paper. I know I'm jumping around a little bit here, but I went back to do my contact page. I don't use an index, it just isn't necessary for me. I had a couple pictures that I printed out on my sprocket from fun memories from last year that I wanted to have right on the inside of my bullet journal, once again, so I can see them every time I open it up. And I'm just using some simple washi tape to spice up the page a little bit. On the page across from my key, I'm taking another picture that I printed out that I love, and this time I'm using washi tape to make a frame around it. Okay, and here's a final flip through of all my spreads that I made using my Cricut machine. I'm still playing around with all the different things I can do on the Cricut, but if you want to see more of my Cricut projects, just let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.